Today, I want to turn our attention specifically to juniors. Maybe sophomores are included in this conversation a little bit, but as we are launching into the start of the school year for so many students right now, some have already started, some are about to start again. Juniors, your project throughout this year is really focused on building your college list. And I've talked about that some here before, but that should be the way you approach this stage of your high school is time to be building your list, thinking about where you would like to go, thinking about what makes a good fit for you and a good choice for you. Visiting schools certainly is something that I recommend to the extent that you can do that in your budget with not only monetarily, but also time. Also, another way to learn more beyond just basic research on their website and taking virtual tours if you're not able to get there in person. I really encourage you to follow them on social media, but also follow specific accounts on social media. There are typically accounts for things like the marching band or certain clubs or certain divisions within the university and things like that. So follow along things that are of interest to you so that you're starting to get a sense of what are they posting about and what does that maybe tell you about that particular aspect of the college. So does it resonate with you what they're saying and what they're talking about, and are you excited by the possibilities that seem to be there based on the different organizations or subdivisions within the university that you're following? Certainly follow admissions pages. Those are great sources of just tips and tidbits about the university. They will certainly do a bit of marketing throughout the year. I love it, particularly when they allow students to kind of take over for the day and give their perspective on a day in their life, those kinds of things. So those are some things that I think can be just valuable tips as you're trying to put all of this together. But today I'm really here to talk about my top 5 reasons not to choose a university or college. So there's lots of reasons out there. These are just the top 5 that I lean toward and want to reiterate these to everyone here today. The number 5 reason: you don't choose a college or university simply because all of your friends are going there. I get it. It is easy to want to follow along the pack. We are, as humans, typically we're social creatures and we want to be with our friends. But oftentimes you're not thinking about your own needs when you are focused on what everybody else is doing. And I understand parents, as we watch our teenagers go through this, it can be hard to really push them to think beyond that comfort level of what they've had in high school. But without sort of taking some risks, then college doesn't become the growth opportunity that it really can be and should be for our students. The subtitle to reason number 5 is also especially don't follow a significant other, a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So often that doesn't work out, and that is a really bad reason to make a choice about where you're enrolling in college, because you, again, are an individual and shouldn't be necessarily deciding that based upon somebody else's decision where they're going, or perhaps they're older and they've already gone. So number 4, not a good idea to choose a college simply because your parents went there. Parents, I get it. Many of us loved our experience, loved our alma mater, would like to see our children have a similar experience. In fact, recently I was with a small group of my college classmates. We had sort of a mini reunion over the summer, and none of us had our children attend the same school. And that is just, it is what it is, but also a good thing. They all chose their own path that made more sense for them in this process. And so it can be a reason to expose our students, our children, to what we experience so they can learn more about it, but it may not, again, be the right fit for them just because it was the right fit for you. Also, let's keep in mind that a lot of years have passed. Things have changed a good bit since most of us that have 18 to 20 somethings went to college. So we need to be mindful of those differences too. And it's really easy to get caught up in the nostalgia that we feel about it and forget that there could be some real differences out there now that might not make it that same experience. And again, our children are going to experience it the same way anyway. Number three, don't pick a school simply because it is the it school. It may not be the school for you, the student. And what do I mean by this? Every high school, it feels like, has this sort of, this is the school. Everybody is quote unquote dying to get into this particular school. And oftentimes that's the state flagship. And I've worked in a lot of different states throughout my career and work with students all over the country now. And I sense that still quite a bit. But again, it doesn't mean that that school, while it is likely a very good school for many, many people, it doesn't mean that it is the right school for our children, our students. So helping them differentiate and think about what are the other factors that might be important to consider. Again, thinking about their learning style, what they want to study, what they hope to get out of their college experience, whether that's studying abroad, whether that's playing a sport, whether that's being in theater, whether that's becoming SGA president, like thinking about the things that are going to make the experience enriching for your child, helping them think through those things so that they're thinking about that as well. I also completely understand that state universities are often really economically a good decision, but that doesn't mean that there aren't others out there that could be equally good financial choices as well. But again, just because it is the school, the it school, it doesn't mean it is the right one for every student there. Number two, this is sort of a don't rule out a college, but don't rule out a college because you have a bad tour guide when you visit. There are so many factors that go into what happens on a tour, what makes a tour good, so to speak. The weather can impact it. If it's a rainy day and it's dreary and it doesn't feel fun to be there walking around campus, that can dissuade a student from wanting to apply. Doesn't mean anything about the college at all, because there are going to be rainy days everywhere we go. But it can impact how it feels that day on the tour. Again, the tour guide can also really do that. Not every tour guide is going to be an exact match based on interests and other things for the students in the tour group. And that should not be the reason to not apply or not pick a university, because that is one person leading a group of likely, 15 to 20 people around campus, explaining their own personal experience and their own interests and how that has informed maybe their choice about going to that particular school. That doesn't mean, if it doesn't resonate with your child, it doesn't mean that the school should be off the table, because again, there's so many different experiences. I witnessed this firsthand with my own son. He is an athlete. The woman leading the tour was very much an artist. It was not, the information that was coming at him on tour was just not what he had the most interest in, what he wanted to study. Not all of that was not coming together. So I get it. He was very much wanting to tune out, and I had to kind of remind him, like, hey, she's just here representing this college's admissions office, and we're just here to see what we see. And we can learn more from other people and ask other questions down the road, but that's not a reason to not consider this particular school. The number one reason on my list, however, is you don't pick a school just because of 5 Saturdays in the fall. I am a huge sports fan, college football in particular, so I completely understand why that can be exciting and can be something that our students feel like is the reason for them to go to a particular school. Again, I'm right there with you, but it certainly is not the foundation for the entire experience, especially when you think about it the way I just said it. There are 5, maybe 6 Saturdays in the fall where that big time football experience or smaller time football experience is happening. And it is not going to be the entire social scene. It is certainly not going to necessarily dictate the academic scene, but it is something that I hear from a lot of students, that they want this huge campus environment with a lot of school spirit and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I follow up with is, what else are you looking for? And when we talk about other things, that's what becomes more important. Where, again, what are you studying? What about support that you might need from learning resources or things like that? What about even have you looked at the coursework within a particular major that you're looking at? Like the student who last year was looking at course descriptions, not course descriptions, the outline of the courses in a particular major, and was like, I'm going to have to take calculus 3. That's not what I want to do. That's a more important reason to decide something about your choices than what's happening on the football field on Saturdays. Again, you won't find a bigger college football fan than me. I am so glad that we are back in it in just a few days and looking forward to how that plays out. But it's not the reason, it's my number one reason not to pick a particular college. I hope that for my juniors out there, this is a great time for investigating, researching, finding out places that you love. Maybe there are some surprises out there that you weren't expecting when you go through this process of taking a look at all the opportunities that exist. Obviously, we're here to help you decide what that list should even look like, help talk you through how to make the most of a college visit. Let us know what we can do to support you on your journey.